had an inner conflict within your friendships? And you probably did. Let's just say I had, like, not so long ago, over the last week, three different women, three different situations, and all were for me an invite of, okay, Ash, what do you want to do now? Like, do you want to do something with this? And what I mean with that is, do I want to, break it open and have that conversation? With one friendship, I decided not to. With one a friendship, I clearly decided, no, I'm just gonna stay quiet. And instead, I'm actually removing myself from her, meaning I don't feel the need to be that close. I don't feel the need to really invest in a deeper connection. And I really felt peace with that decision. With another friend, I decided to actually have that courageous conversation and to speak with her and to openly express, like the inner conflict that I felt. And the beauty is that, because it's a vulnerable thing to do, but the beauty is that she welcomed that openly and warm-heartedly, and it actually really brought us closer because that's the whole intention of why I ended up choosing to do that. It was to have that connection. That's the washing machine. To have that connection deepened, to not lose that connection. The thing is, when you keep quiet, when you keep quiet, things can become a huge thing, right? It can be that silent killer that just breaks that beautiful connection that you're building with someone. And I'm like, no, I love her and I want to stay connected with her, which is exactly why I'm sharing this. It was never as a form of attack. Funnily enough, with the third person, I decided the same. Like, I'm gonna openly speak about this. I'm gonna openly express, that inner conflict again as an invitation to deepen our bond. And that one was not as well received. Um, and then there is an interesting invite for me again, like how to deal with that. So what I noticed is what is happening is like, okay, why did I do this again? And I'm like, no, I know why I did this. And I was very conscious of it. And it wasn't a reactivity at all. It was really to have that beautiful connection and to maintain that connection and to seek that connection because there's a reason why there was an inner conflict, right? But how she perceives that, how she receives that is out of my control. You can control a lot, like the tone of voice, etc., but a lot of other factors is out of my control. And what I could tell, because I was very neutral, was that it actually kind of pushed her in an area that is hurtful for her, like her own team. And so I was like, okay, and so what is my invite? And the invite that I felt in that situation was very clearly that I do not need validation from outside to be happy. Like it's or to feel peace or to feel whole or to feel good enough or whatever. Like I think a friendship needs to be safe enough to express when you do that with love, honor, and respect. And I just let it be for now. I'm like, okay, give her some chance and time to soak it in. Um, and we will talk when the time is right, and I will lovingly receive her, and if needed, I will, explain myself. But I do not regret still opening up that conversation because it was needed. And this whole movement of how I move through all these friendships that way is what I call the liberated woman. I found during the years that we as women are either stuck in that Google energy where we keep quiet and we kind of manage the situation and please people, but it makes us small. And the problem is that that could actually cause a huge distrust in the friendships and relationships that you have, and it can really add up to the point where sometimes it's too late to mend things. And the other part of the story, which is basically it's the same coin, just a different side of it, is the independent woman who thinks that, oh, I don't need anybody, and I can count on me, and I can only count, okay, like I can only count on me, and etc. etc. And I don't want to operate from her either. But I have both energies in me. And as you can tell from all these examples, that kind of, it was a team, right? So I was like, wow, it's interesting that this all kind of came together in the same week with all female friendships. Like it was interesting for me to notice. And then I was like, wow, I really navigate it. Like you see me dancing, I navigate it in a different way depending on the person. And it's because I attuned myself. It's because it's not black and white. It's with every person. It was like, okay, what do I want to do here? Do I want to speak up? Do I want to? And with one, it was very clear, like, no, I'm not going to speak up. I'm not choosing the good girl. I was choosing the fact that I knew that whatever I will say, it's not going to change. And I had to accept that we are just not a great fit. And therefore, I made a conscious decision of, okay, I love her as a person, but not as a close friend. I don't think that works. And so I choose instead to just make a bigger distance, to just have a bigger distance between us because, yeah, that actually does resonate, you know? And it doesn't have to become a whole thing. And so I just respect her for who she is, and I see her and I accept her, and I choose to move accordingly. With the other two friendships, it was very clear that I have a very deep, deep, deep loving bond with both of them. And that I really do want to have that continuous deepening of that friendship. And if I do sense of some form of conflict, that I want to speak up so that there's nothing in between us. And in that sense, I move more towards, having that courageous conversation. But again, it came from attunement. It came from really feeling like, what is the best way to move from here? It didn't all happen the same day, just to be clear, but it was definitely in the same week. And so, yeah, the independent woman is the woman that chooses based on her own attunement, which gives the freedom, right? Which means that you're not operating from this program of, oh, I have to stay safe. Trust me, I felt fear. I once lost a friendship over it for me speaking up. And eventually, when she left, it hurt. It really hurt. But I also had to really see that when she left, chaos left. And I could not deny that, like, so for me, it was like, okay, sometimes when people do leave, maybe they're just meant to leave, but it doesn't mean that speaking up was the wrong thing, as long as you do it respectfully and with the right intent, right? Um, and I really felt that it was an important thing to share, because what I noticed with me showing up every day now is a lot of my stories are all about, unblocking yourself and choosing the liberation. When my friend, the last one, decided to not openly receive it, to not really see what I meant, and she was not able in that moment. I do have full hope that she will eventually, but in that moment she wasn't, because it touched something in her that I could clearly see as well. I chose peace. So I was like, okay, let's just have a break for now, and we will see each other when it's time. But it also made me feel sad, because there's a part of me that wants to be the good girl, that wants to just keep the peace. And it was like, fuck, why did I say something? That's a thought that definitely arises. But the liberated woman in me was like, no, the reason I spoke is exactly because I love her and I want to keep that union. Um, and there comes that feedback, right? Like, but if she doesn't want to, or if she doesn't receive it that way, or whatever, free choice, people, um, then I don't need that validation. And the moment I said that to myself, and the moment I knew, like, hey, my joy is not outside, I can choose my peace and my joy on the inside. I literally liberated myself from those attachments and those fears. And that's a lot of times what we do when we are Miss Independent, or when we are, the good girl. We're not really operating from truth. We're operating from this fear of, okay, if I don't do this, then people won't like me. I will stay alone, or let me protect myself. I will do this by myself because I can do this by myself, and not really receiving the love that you are craving for and that you deserve. So either way, for me, the liberated woman is that healthy, beautiful dance with life and with people. And what I just noticed, that's actually what I wanted to say, was every story I tell is about that liberation. The fact that I wanted to show up as a form of art, for me, my biggest value in life is freedom. And it's in everything I do. And the moment I notice that I'm not feeling that freedom, I openly and like explore it. Like why is that? Why do I feel restricted? Which is why I felt those inner conflicts in my friendships, and they all had their own stories. And the thing is, the stories don't matter, but the the freedom to express does, you know? And not to express just to express, not because I'm right. No, but to be heard and to be welcomed in that vulnerability. And I'm showing up for you guys very vulnerable, unfiltered, like I said before. And, it's the most courageous thing to do. I think the reason why for so many years I failed doing it because I wasn't ready to show up this way. And luckily, because I wasn't ready to show up this way, I refused to show up then. Because it's like, if I'm not gonna do this full in, as honest and truthful as possible, literally the little one is at school and I'm doing the wash, like this is like the second one in and the third one is going right after. This is real life, and this is the only way I want to show up. For you, for the people I love, the people around me, for everyone. But mostly for me. Yeah. By the way, I wanted to create something to have more interaction with you guys because I'm really loving the comments. And the other day I got this beautiful comment and it was with a question, and I ended up making a story about that. One of my episodes is about that. And it reminded me of how much I love Marie Forleo. And I used to check out her Q&A Tuesdays, I believe it was. And for those who don't know Marie Forleo, she is the one, she's from the States, an Italian, and she helps people with helping you create a business and life that you love. And when people write her, sometimes she picks someone and she dedicates that question in an episode. And I want to do something similar like that. And so I am going to put a link underneath this and also on my main page where if you have questions that you want me to answer, like, hey, Ash, what would you do? Or whatever it is, you can send that and I can do that anonymously if you want. So you can, it's going to be with a checkbox. So if you don't want me to mention your name, that's fine. And for people that actually really want to do some deeper work with me one-on-one, I'm going to give you that availability as well. So I'm going to put that link down too. I call it Power Hour. One of my gifts is that I can very quickly see where people are stuck and unblock them and put them into their power, into action, etc., etc. And it would be a shame for me not to share that. And so right now, this is officially that invitation that I want to reach out for you guys to use if you want to. And I'm gonna wish you a beautiful day for today. I will see you guys obviously tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.